Hey everybody, and the Natlan drip marketing is here, and while we were expecting this, and the characters of course we have seen before, we don't actually know a lot about them, and thanks to the oodles of text that are available in the post, we're going to be able to learn a little bit more about how these characters fit in to the wide region of Natlan. I read it so you don't have to. Leave a like and subscribe, and let's get started. Before we get started though, of course, I have expressed already that I'm not the biggest fan of designs, especially when it relates to the culture that they're taking from. So if you want to help out the people, especially voice actors, etc., or content creators who have mentioned this as well, you can email them at the customer service line right here if you want to express if you feel that is not really good at representing what they're trying to do. And with that out of the way, also just secondarily, I am going to be pretty busy, so content is going to slow down. I'm also going to try and take this video very slow because again, these paragraphs are very long, so I don't want to waste my voice all in one shot. But yes, enough yapping. Let's get onto the character that I am personally betting. I think she is a 5-star, unless they pull something which I'll put in opinion of, because these characters seem to have some special abilities related only to them, which may be a little scary when it comes to pulling. But yes, this is Mualani. There's not a spot in the whole of Natlan that this girl couldn't reach if she wanted to. So why does she come asking if there's an auspicious day for an outing every single time? Oh well, now that I've read her fortunes for a whole decade in advance, I finally have some peace and quiet. That's Seatal. So Seatal is actually really cool to see that, because Seatal is the pink-haired / purple girl that we also saw in the trailers. I'm sure most people remember because she's quite popular, I'd say. She's the one that threw the ball and she's like, leave me alone. Which is reflected in this sentence as well, so that's quite fun. But yeah, so now we know that Seatal is a fortune teller, but on to Mualani herself, of course, that's her name. Splish / wave changer. A lot of these names are weird, to be honest. Or the title, I should say. The Metzi guide, so I guess you're going to be guiding us around Natlan, which makes a lot of sense. Again, why I feel like she's going to be a 5-star, because it's going to be sort of the Linny of the region, the Ayako of the region, the first character you meet, and is going to help you out. Hydrovision, wow, I wouldn't have guessed. It's not like they're literally riding a shark. And then the Proka Nemocurius, that's interesting. And something that's super duper interesting is that this looks pretty standard, right? But once I flip over, I'm going to show you the new splash art that they've created for the game, and this is really super duper cool because so they always do 2 posts, right? And that was the vertical one I just showed you. This is the big post, and they've completely changed not only their art style but their presentation as well. Of course, there's the gray border and the white background back here, but you can see there's paint splotches, there's effects. The most important thing is that they moved the name off of the character. The biggest thing is that they would never actually show you the full art of the character, and that made it a really big issue. I mean, for fans who are trying to draw, but also for myself trying to make thumbnails. So it's really nice to just have the full character design. We don't have to cut around and do crazy Photoshop shenanigans. But of course, that is pretty cool. We're not here to look at that all day. We're here to read the lore. But yes, in terms of how well they know Natlan, perhaps even the birds gaze down upon the land from high up above the wood fall short, for the guides of the people of the springs long ago in their forerunners once measured the world at their feet, transforming and winding the perilous paths they walked into the networks of orderly lines on their maps. Oh, that rhymes. That's cute. All right. As member of the people of the springs, a new generation of young guides, Mualani has already established an eminent name for herself throughout Natlan. With her to lead the way, you'd be sure to experience the spectacular sight of volcanic eruptions, breathe in the refreshing natural fragrance of the ambrocarol flowers, even witness the spontaneous performances put on by a pack of Colosaurus. But likewise, if there was an emergency, or you just need to be somewhere urgently, she'd find a shortcut to get you there as safely and sound and smoothly as possible. Everyone knows the routes, Mualani herself will tell you, but the timing is key. You can't just set off wherever you feel like it. That would feel extremely unlucky. Yeah, okay, so yeah, she is the tried and true guide, and it's also really interesting. I'm gonna see if this is a trend that continues. Of course, they haven't like pre-read anything. It's just gonna be as we go. But the people of the springs, so we know there's 6 tribes in Natlan, so I wonder if this is one of them, the people of the springs, which would make a lot of sense. They have very distinct designs between each other. We're gonna have to see the Dendro guy and the Geo girl, also have some sort of subtitle. We'll see how it is, but yeah, for the most part, just appreciate that the full character is now in the splash art. It's not a big and massive inconvenience for me to try and figure out, you know, it's like, oh, this piece of their hair is cut off or something. It's like, I don't know where it went. But yeah, this is cool. And I think it's neat. It definitely, like, low key, you know, like I'd have to go more in depth with this, you know, to actually really understand what I'm saying. But it almost doesn't feel like Genshin with how stylized, you know, and like not necessarily about the vibrance, but the new like textures that they're using and stuff is very different. You know, it's very in line, which once again, you should make sure that if you want to play version 5.0, prepare your device, because they're going to be adding, you know, not only a higher requirement for mobile devices, but also a higher storage requirement. So be ready. You know, Natlan's going to be pretty big, and already a change in the art direction is definitely a sign of things to come. But yes, that is Mualani. You know, not much to say. She's the guide. Maybe we'll learn a little more, but this one I think people are really going to like, because you know, it not only is it a guy with a Dendro Claymore, dude, the Kinich. This servant of mine was no fool, and nimble too. As far as servants goes, his biggest fault is that no matter how hard you try, you simply can't get rid of him. I mean it. He will literally not let you die. Have you ever heard of someone falling headfirst in a cliff and still surviving? It's utterly frustrating. Kuta Awal, the self-proclaimed almighty dragon lord. So that's the person right there, this person we saw screaming in the trailer. But yeah, that is interesting, because they're probably going to be very relevant in the story, especially because they announced their VA. It's something that I left off the bingo card, which I'll have linked down in the description as well if you want to cast your vote on the characters that you like or not. But yeah, it's a very strange little pixely guy that obviously has sentience, and you know, it's talking like this, you know, they're their master, which, I mean, who knows? Honestly, I think Kinich might just be tolerating them, but who knows, right? They're probably story relevant. But yeah, this Kinich, the Turnfire Hunt, Hudson, Saurian Hunter, Dendro, obviously, I would have never guessed again. And then the Chimera Albarius, very interesting. So this one's interesting, and I think we're going to talk about it more as we get to the next page. But Saurian Hunter, Saurian, if you don't know, is actually something that's already in the game. I do believe it is a race, so that's going to be really interesting, you know, to see, are they actually hunting Saurians, or is it just a title, you know? But reminds me a lot of Tignari, you know, being a hunter and everything, knowing the wildlife. And also, it doesn't get displayed too well, but of course, he seemed to have the grappling abilities, you know, being able to grapple midair. Hey, wink, 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 wink. I wonder what game does that too. But, you know, I do wonder, they probably tried to get it in here some way, but, you know, he's just kind of doing a mad dash, but whatever. NVIDIA, once again, very stylized, very, very nice. You know, gets the full body in the shot, so that's super cool. All right, but here we go. It is one thing to charge a fee for delivering a letter, but charging for being the flame barrier on Tunfire Night? That's outrageous. Is this really the hero of ours? It's not like you just met him today. Surely you admit he does the job well. That's all that matters. In Natlan, where humans and Saurians live together in harmony, there have always been some who have looked askance, that's a new word, at Saurian hunters in a land full of heroes. Their practice of assessing commissions and setting a price makes the profession even more controversial. A cruel, ruthless, cold-blooded killer, a pragmatic utilitarian without so much as a hint of chivalrous decorum. In such a heartless, damning terms do people describe the young man that never to argue back. But what of it? As long as the price is right, all commissions shall be fulfilled in a satisfactory manner. All writhing and raging aberrants return to the Night Kingdom from whence they came. Once the bearer of the Turnfire name has locked into a target, there's no looking back. So we got a mercenary on our hands, and looks like they're definitely, you know, part of some sort of bloodline here. You can see, you know, the Turnfire, right, or the Saurian Hunters. So that's really interesting. And they put this description of like cruel, cold, ruthless. Yeah, right, buddy. This is Genshin Impact. You know, it probably could be the case. Who knows, right? The story could change. We may have something a little bit, especially with this goofball on their side, though. You know, I don't think they're actually going to be going very far on any assassination missions. It's very interesting, you know, like it says, as the Saurians are the draconic race that's going to be living inside Natlan, and hopefully get to learn a lot more about it. But maybe he is hunting them down and other people down. But yeah, this is pretty cool. You know, he has the grapple hook, so again, I really want to see how far that goes. Has a big old claymore too, so that's also really interesting. Hopefully he has a cool playstyle, because this is the character at the minimum. You know, I at least like their color scheme, and that's about as far as it goes. So yes, that is Kinich, and let's move on to the next character, who is Geo, and it is Kachina. Not long after we first met, I saw Kachina crying, and I tried to hand her a handkerchief, but smiling back, she said to me, "Don't worry, I'll wipe my own tears away." That was the moment I'll always remember, so you don't worry about her either. The girl's made of strong stuff. Just make sure you give her all the encouragement she needs. Mualani. Oh, okay, yeah. So Mualani's introducing her. Makes a lot of sense. You know, in the trailer, they were talking to each other during, you know, the sports announcement or the tournament announcement. So, you know, that's really cool. And also, big fucking drill. Yeah, so we saw this again in the trailers. We knew that it was gonna happen, but you know, unlike Kinich, where you can barely see what he's doing, this is quite obvious. And the weird thing about this drill is that, like, we saw that both the rock Saurian and also herself could climb, you know, move really fast and also climb walls, which is a pretty standard, you know, Sayu Kirara transport. We'll see how it actually gets implemented. Again, I'm really hoping it's not only exclusive to Natlan characters. That would be incredibly cringe, you know, all things considered. But yeah, there we go. Let's go ahead and read the rest of it. Modded gold yet unsmelted. Sure. Sure, buddy. What in the world? Natlan young Braveheart. Geo, I would never guess. Oceanian Principess. Okay. Interesting. I also, I know her Geo vision is located somewhere else, but I swear I almost thought her helmet had the Geo vision, which is also very cute, because she has sort of like the mining getup, right? You know, like a mining hat, etc., which makes a lot of sense because she likes to go digging, so maybe that's just her thing, right? But she's got a very silly drill, so let's go ahead and flip over to her actual page. Here we go. All right, just like the younglings of the Children of Echo. So again, another tribe name. Feel like that's probably it. Kachina grew up surrounded by adorable Telspars and shiny gems dug up from the depths, and heroic stories passed down from the tribal elders. She came to know the mountain pass like the back of her hand, developing a great instinct and searching out for the treasures of her earth in her leisure time. She had and her friends would often visit the recording studios where musicians made music, where they would dance freely by pulsing rhythms. Growing into such an environment, and the occasional bump and scratch was unavoidable, and she was hurt herself. Kachina would cry out in pain just like any other child, but long before she had recovered from their pain, she would have wiped away her tears and stood back up again. All right, so she's a tough girl. Gotta live in that tough, you know, little rough and tough environment. That's why she has a band-aid on, right? Of course, she understands why adults might see her as a good kid, yet she struggles to comprehend why she, of all people, is given the name Ubathai. Oh, okay, so we don't have, this is actually like, you know, kind of a surname, you know, on top name. This is her real name. Let's see here. For an ancient poem goes, that one dares stand firm on the mountain, their bones like battlements, and holds the sun gaze. It is as they shall be given unto eternity. Okay, Raiden Shogun. Fear itself should be instead fear me. For my body is like a roaring blaze, destined to melt down all that is mean and lowly, then cast it once more as an epithet. Okay, whoa. Whoa, the lore on this one is crazy. All right, then. What part of her life gives up to the lofty spirit embodied by this great name? The young Kachina has yet to figure this out, but has been granted this great honor. She is determined to never give up, no matter how many of her bids. The pilgrimage of the return, ooh, that's important, of the sacred flames will end in vain. Even if it means being ostracized and reproached by her peers, or the feeling of disappointed and inferior at times, nearly overwhelmed by landslides of all the negativity, in the end she'll wipe it all away along with her tears, because one thing is for certain, that Ubathai Kachinka will never be defeated by her. Just what the fuck? This is the deepest lore out of all the characters. The other one's like, yeah, I'm an assassin. The other one's like, yeah, I'm a guide. This one, I have received the title of an undying, you know, someone who's going to receive tons and tons of pain in my life, and you know, all this negativity is gonna pile up, and disappointment, inferiority, etc. And it's just like, oh, I'm a happy-go-lucky little driller. What the bleep, man? That's insane. Oh my goodness. All right, well, that's Kachina. This is definitely something I want to take note of, because this is very relevant in the trailer, right? You know, I didn't go over it too much because, again, there is some lore there, but I haven't studied Jean-Blik's lore, which is the Undying Flame, right? But here it is, right here. the pilgrimage of the return of the sacred flame, which I'm sure relates to the undying flame lore and what is inside Natlan, right? It's the thing that Murata, or not Murata, right? The new name for her, or the alleged pyro archon, you might say, with the biker outfit, walks up to and says, "Time to burn again," and then like asks you, "Did you miss anything?" Like there's a lot of things in there that you could try to decipher from the trailer, but I'm not gonna go too far with it. I have to study the lore first before I try to understand what's actually happening there. But yeah, that's Kachina, and looks like she's pretty important to this. So I'm surprised they gave her so much lore. I really hope this actually means something in the game and not just, oh, feel bad for this character, right? Because there's no way you build up someone like this and then it doesn't actually do anything in the game. That would be very sad. But yeah, those are all three of our drip mark characters. Actually pretty quick, by the standards of how much we had to read. But yeah, again, designs are designs. If you don't like them, send the email. Express your complaints in a constructive manner. It is what it is. I think Kinich is pretty cool. Hopefully he's actually interesting. I put very low doubts that he's actually all this, right? The ruthless and cold-blooded, but who knows? Maybe the story can definitely turn around my opinion, right? And I'm really hoping the most important thing for Natlan, especially since there's a lot of things, I'm having a little bit of contention with this game, is I just hope the story is at least good, because Fontaine, excellent, Sumeru, pretty freaking good, especially coming off the back of Inazuma. But this is the penultimate nation before we go to Snezhnaya, and Snezhnaya is where realistically shit needs to hit the fan, because they've kind of portrayed, as much as there's morally gray Fatui, for the most part they have portrayed them as the bad guys, right? So we can't just waltz in the Snezhnaya and then everything's gonna be a-okay. Something definitely needs to happen in this story, and that's really what I hope. And I hope the characters, just like all of Hoyoverse's writing, regardless of if their design choice support, if their kit support, etc., they always write characters really good, especially Fontaine. They really hit it out of the park with Fontaine, so it's gonna be pretty hard to top it with someone like this, right? As long as they follow through with a lot of the setup that they're giving these characters, I think they're gonna do just fine. But yeah, that is the entirety of my review with the drip marking. I know I don't sound super duper excited about these things, but it is, I have my opinions and I'm allowed to have them. But yeah, no, it is cool to see where Natlan will go, and hopefully, again, the story is my biggest concern for this region. Hopefully, first off, again, like the character kits, I really hope they're cool and not uninteresting, because that's really the most important part, right? I can look at a character all day, but if I can't play them, then there is no point. But yeah, that is the end of my drip marketing video. And again, like I said, I am going to be super busy for the next 3 weeks. I will not be able to post a lot of videos. I may do something here and there, and that goes for all my channels, like period. I will not be able to do a lot. So if you want to keep up with what I'm doing for those 3 weeks, follow me on Twitter, on Instagram. My handle is always going to be Kojo Creations. There's sometimes an underscore, sometimes there isn't. I'm going to be really busy, so just keep that in mind. But yes, thank you all so much for watching. Again, appreciate you sticking with me on the journey of Natlan, and hopefully we end up enjoying it at the end of the day. But again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.